Alright, we have moved on to our hitch category, and the first hitch that you should know, these are building block hitches, is called the cow hitch. Now, it's called other names too. It is also known as the lark's head, the lanyard hitch, the bail sling hitch, or the ring hitch. And if we were tying it not onto an object before we tie it onto the object, it's when you fold it around like this and make a loop that goes around the other two exiting lines. And that is a cow hitch or lark's head. I call them a cow hitch. And how you tie that on a fixed rod is I go around, underneath, back through, so that is the cow hitch. The next building block hitch is called the half hitch, and it basically goes around something, loops over the line, and then comes through the hole. And that is a half hitch. The next building block knot that we're going to talk about, that everybody probably already knows, which is called the overhand knot. It looks like a pretzel, and it's how you tie your shoes. And this knot is integrated into a lot of other knots. It's one of the main building blocks of most knots. A double overhand, you just make one more turn through the circle, and that is considered a double overhand. The next knot we're going to talk about is a timber hitch, and that is basically going around the line, around your object, going underneath the line, and then rewinding this line under the trailing loop that goes around your object. Keep wrapping that around and around like that. What it does is it binds down, and those wrappings bind against the object, and it creates a noose knot. And that is the timber hitch. The next knot we're going to learn is called the clove hitch, and this is what you'll use this knot a lot. It's basically two half hitches. The first one goes under and over and around. It doesn't go over the top, but it keeps going underneath. And then it goes back through the hole. So when you're done with it, it's two opposing X's. That is the clove hitch. The next knot we're going to tie is called the constrictor knot, and you can tie this in a lashing, or you can tie it in loop like this. Now there's lots of ways to tie this knot, but I find this way to be the best. You make an S, and you bring both of the working and standing end over top of the loops. Then you orientate these loops out to the side and then bring them together. And that creates this loop, and that is a constrictor knot. We can put it over top of our whatever we're trying to lash down, and it binds extremely tight, so tight that sometimes you cannot untie this knot. If we notice on this, it is a overhand knot, a single overhand on the bottom, and then a line coming over the top here that is considered to be the jamming part. It's pushing down on that overhand knot, and it's extremely secure. It does not usually run out. It binds really tight. Sometimes you need a tool to untighten it. So that is the constrictor knot in loop. Okay, now let's tie the constrictor knot in the end of the line or in lashing form. So we go over, okay, then we cross over that, and then come back underneath. Then we go over this line and under it through the middle, like that, so that it ties an overhand knot underneath this loop right here. So these two lines, if you look at them, it should look like an overhand knot underneath this loop here. And that is a constrictor knot tied in lashing form. Next knot we're going to talk about as a hitch is a Marlin Spike. And it's very easy. You make a turn, and then whatever turn is on top, this line is on top, you reach through this hole, grab this, and pull it through, back through the hole. And what it makes is an overhand knot over top. It's a slip knot. And that's made for making rope ladders. You can put a piece of wood in there and cinch it down and make that one rung, and then you go up to the next one, make another Marlin Spike and another rung, and you do it on both sides. Or it just can be lashed to a pole and then another pole. There's a million uses for it, and it's one of the building block knots that's in a lot of other knots. So that's the Marlin Spike.